Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Thomas Christ, and this is Make It Rock, the show where I show you how you can make it rock just the same way that I do. Um, we are going to get into hopefully your questions here today. Say hello if you're here, if you're watching, if you're in the chat. Um, but I do have some stuff that I'm gonna start with. First of all, I've gotten to work on the 20th album. I have a song done. I have another song that's just about ready to go. Getting really close there, so that's very cool, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited about getting to work on Do You Know the Password? And hey, Leela, welcome. Um, so yeah, been hard at work on that already, and there we go. Thank you, Leela. If you do want to send a super chat, you want to join the Patreon, you absolutely can. Thank you for those links. Hello, Jade Star. Welcome. And yes, we have the Chaos Club for only $1 if you want the cool emojis, and it's always free to hit the proverbial like button. That's always an option as well. All right, let's get into it. So I'm going to start off today with a couple of interesting news notes in music, sort of tangential. Well, this one's very music related. So Rick Beato put a video out yesterday, and there's a band. It's the AI band. It's happening, folks. It's happening. Here we are, the Velvet Sundown. So I'll get a link to this video here. Put it in the chat. Hey, Dynamite Throw, welcome. I will put a link to this in the chat. I'm not going to play it, obviously, on the stream, but there's the link to the Rick Beato video. So this, and this was as of when he posted this. They have 372,931 monthly listeners, and this album is getting a lot of talk and a lot of play on the social media stuff. And Rick Beato did a really interesting thing. He actually used Logic Pro to prove that this was AI, because nobody was I know it's it's getting tougher to tell, but he has a pretty cool idea about how you can figure this out. So what he did is he took this one of the songs from this band, and he put it into Logic Pro. Hey, Amelia. Welcome. He put it in Logic Pro, and what he did was he used the stem splitter. Funny enough, they call it AI stem. I don't know if it's really AI. It's a stem splitter. And the interesting thing is, that's the thing. But when you put a song, so he put 3 songs into the stem splitter in Logic Pro. One was a Led Zeppelin song. The Led Zeppelin song separated out perfectly. Like it was kind of unreal, because I don't even know how separated that stuff was originally. They only had they didn't have a lot of channels back in those days. So hey, Jamie Lynn, welcome. They didn't have a lot of channels back in those days, but he was able to separate them all out. The guitars, the bass, everything separated pretty cleanly on that. Then he tried a Sabrina Carpenter song. I guess that's a more modern. I'd be honest with you, I really don't know who Sabrina Carpenter is. No idea. But he put one of her songs in, and it separated out pretty good too. I was able to get pretty good separation on that, which was nice. And then he put the Velvet Sundown into the old splitter there on Logic Pro, and you wouldn't believe what happened. Couldn't split it. Vocals were very, very difficult to make out. Guitars were just mush. And you know why? Because it's taking little tiny slices of songs from out there. Your songs, potentially. Probably, I mean, it's, anything that's out there in the commercial sphere that it's using to train this AI. It's taking these little tiny, itsy bitsy little slices, it's expanding it out, and it just turns into this soup. It's like this soup of stuff that's happened before. Now it's pretty clever in how it does it, but at the end of the day, it's very hard to separate out because they don't have the original tracks. They're just using the full mix to do the AI training. So when you do this, and when you have the AI training that way, when you try to separate it out, it's a slop. The vocals aren't very distinct. They're very alias. They have a lot of compression, a lot of artifacts. Same thing with the guitars that weren't even distinguishable as guitars. The drums, I think the drums came out pretty good, but that's drums. They're pretty simple. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. But Velvet. Yeah, you sent me this band, the Velvet Sundown. But anyway, this is a thing now. So I don't know what to say. Hopefully, it would be not. What would be awesome is if the system, if the distributors that sent this stuff out, DistroKid, things like that, if they had some kind of detection, and I don't think it would be that difficult. I feel like, you could probably use AI for good in the purpose of detecting AI songs. Because I think, who knows AI better than AI, probably. They could just start detecting these AI songs and flagging them, and making sure that they don't get through. That would be really nice. Now, I don't know if they have any incentive to actually do that, but it would be a cool thing if that were to happen. So this is kind of a thing that's going on, and it's something that we ought to be aware of. I don't really have a lot of good answers for it other than detection. Like, yeah, the anti-AI. Yeah, it is. It's C3PO. Exactly. So yeah, this is the thing that's happening now. I'm going to tell you about something else that's happening that I think is even more concerning. And this is a video from another content creator on YouTube named Adam Conover. And he has made a video called AI is Making You Dumber. He just released this a day ago. And there's all kinds of great information that he has in this video, which let me get this link here for you real quick here, and just put that in there so you can have it and check it out for yourself, because I really think it's 22 minutes, definitely worth. Yeah, it's definitely worth checking it out. But here it is. Like, I brought this part up in particular. So this is performance in reason and problem solving tests declining. And you can see very clearly here that I can use my new thing. Can I use my new thing? Where is it? It's not even there. I don't know what happened to it. Where'd it go? There we go. Okay. So, we have right here, you can see this? It is right around 2010, 2014. All this stuff started to really go a bad way. And it corresponds with the advent of smartphones. But you can see there's even like a bigger dip here. And this is kind of where like a lot of the AI stuff came in. And that's not even the most concerning part about all this. Probably a more concerning part about it is that what's happening is people are using here's what Leela has to say. From a preprint study using 3 groups to write essays using Google ChatGPT and themselves, they had to recreate them. Skepchick is very good. But what's happening is in colleges, they're now using ChatGPT. Like, I think they said it's something like 60-70% of kids are using ChatGPT to do all their work, do all their homework and stuff. And the problem with that is these are the people that are going to grow up. They're going to go on to be your doctors and your nurses and your accountants and your lawyers. And they're doing everything through ChatGPT. So what's happening is they're not actually like learning anything. All they're doing is they're just they're just like putting stuff in Chat GPT and printing it out. And it's very, very hard to detect because it's just like with the music AI, the AI for Chat GPT has gotten pretty sophisticated. And the problem with this is that they can't, they don't have the resources to stop it and they can't detect it. But I mean, these people are graduating, they're going out, they're getting jobs as, again, lawyers, they're reading your x-rays, they're, anything you can think of, they're doing your banking, and they don't really know the stuff that they need to actually know. And here's always been my supposition. The biggest problem with all of this is that the AI uses us as its resource. But if we don't know, if we're no longer making positive contributions anymore, and we're just letting the AI look at what people have, what people are creating, pretty soon it's going to start referencing itself, and then it's going to just kind of degrade. And yeah, it's going to turn into, that's what I'm worried about. It's going to turn into, if it hasn't already, a very like idiocracy type of scenario. Hello, Stephen Ewert. Stephen said I dropped Frank's files into Logic and they're playing back in B flat. What the fuck? Interesting. What key is it supposed to be in? Do you know? Let me see if I can I find that? I went to search for Frank Terzo and I searched Frank Terzoli. Frank Terzoli. I'm not sure who that is. All right, here this should be him. And let's see, we got video. Okay, change the world. Okay. It doesn't say what it's. Oh, there we go. So DJ Big Red, hello DJ Big Red. He ought to know. He says it's in B major, 112 BPM. So it should be in B flat then. B flat major. Got electrolytes. Driving at present. Okay. So it seems like it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Search Frank Chorizo. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah, so I think it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. But yeah, so this whole AI thing is pretty concerning. And I've noticed even like my own personal life, like going to the doctor, like they're actually using like some sort of like AI thing to and thank you DJ Big Red. There's the link to the project there in the video if you want to download that. There we go. Big red circle. But yeah, they're starting to use that as like an aid transcription, stuff like that. And it's pretty freaky. It's pretty freaky stuff. But that's very cool. You can head on over to Frank's channel there, and you can be a part of that. We know the great stuff that he did with the song New World about 2 years ago. So this is very cool. He's doing that again. And along with folk punk. That's very awesome. Yeah, no, like Amelia says here, it's a listening device to transcribe your conversation with your doctor. It's to save time because the healthcare system is fucked. It's on us to opt out as much as we can. Yeah, and that's the hard thing too. Where do you draw that line? Maybe that stuff isn't such a bad thing, but other things can certainly be. Hello, Pause and Guitars. Welcome. So I'm here to answer your questions. If you have questions about your music, creating music, just throw a Q, put a Q in front of it in the chat so I know that you got a question. I can tell you that as far as the channel here, I finally got the merch store up and running with YouTube. So if you just go to the YouTube channel and you hit store, the store tab, it's populated with all the products. Thanks Fourth Wall team. Finally got it sorted out so that all the products show up, and so that's awesome. So you can go and check all those out, and there'll be more to come soon as well. Listening in the doctor's office, what could go wrong? That's a rhetorical question. And there's the link to the fourth wall. Thank you, Leela. So yeah, but it's an interesting question. How much as musicians we want to use this technology, how much do we want to rely on like Chat GPT? For me, I don't really. The only thing I use AI for, and yes, I've taken some criticism for it, is I do use it in thumbnails. I do use the art. I don't just take the art and that's the thumbnail. You know what I mean? I take the art and I do a lot of my own editing and stuff. So it's not like I'm just regurgitating whatever the AI prints out. But I think for something like thumbnails, where you just need to create something eye-catching, I don't really see the problem with that, because it's a little bit different with art, I think, because art has always kind of used whatever, it's kind of like back in the day when you would have like you know, uh, Photoshop or something, you would apply a filter to an image and it could make it look like a Van Gogh painting or something. And they had this back when I was in graphic design school, like in 2000, 2001. You could apply effects to things and make it look a certain way. I don't really see that there's a whole lot of difference there. But, it's certainly a debatable point. But Pausing Guitars uses AI to create thumbnails. And like I said, I don't just use the AI as it is. I use I use that as a background, and then I add other elements on top of it that I created. Well, if you're using a filter to create like a Van Gogh style painting, it absolutely did. Stealing Van Gogh. Dan has a question. Any good free plugins you use all the time, not in the DAW already, though? That is a great question, and I know there are some. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring up FL Studio because my memory is lousy. So let's see if I can finagle this here. I need to get you over here. There we go. All right. So we'll take a look at what I have here in terms of things. So I know two right off the bat is Ample Sound has Ample Bass Light and Ample Guitar Light. So the bass is a bass guitar, and the guitar you have an electric bass guitar, and you have an acoustic. And I use this acoustic all the time. This is totally free. It's trying to load. Is it gonna load? Or is it gonna freeze? It's looking like it might be freezing. I'm not sure why. Okay. I don't know why it won't open that. But anyway, so that's definitely one. I need to like restart this. Oh, look at that. That's staying on the screen. That's amazing. But yeah, so that's one such app. Let's see what other plugins I have that are free. Just looking through. Sitala, I think, is free. I haven't used that one in a while. That is a drum. You can add in drums to it. So that's definitely one that I would recommend if you want to do like nice simple drum editor. I think they added they put that on for that's on iPad too. Just trying to see what else might be free in here. Upright Piano was for that's in here, but it won't load anymore because it doesn't at some point it stopped working. And that's one of the problems with free things, is that sometimes they just don't work. Or they stop working eventually. I used to have a lot of cool stuff when I was on. That was the one thing I miss about PC when I was on PC, there were tons of free plugins, and I used to use a lot of them. They did weird stuff. But I hope that let's see if there's any effects that I use that are free. Blue Cat, I know Blue Cat audio, the chorus especially. Let's see here. So this is the Blue Cat audio chorus, but they have a whole they have the flanger, they have a free amp, they have a frequency analyst, a gain plugin, phaser, triple EQ, all that's free. Let's see what else. I think Flatter might have been free. Don't quote me on that. But I think this one might have been free. This is like a multi-channel distortion plugin. Yeah, there's lots of great stuff, and I know I think DJ Big Red posted a great link in there. Are we going to hear some Triangle on the new album? Probably not. Not unless it's heavily affected. Amelia asked, do you regret bringing up my arch nemesis on this show? By arch nemesis, she's referring to AI. DJ Big Red says has the Waves free bundle as well. TC, I have an acoustic bass, you know. Yes. You get 9 plugins. Hey, Frank Turzo, welcome. I have Glade plugins. The smelly kind, yes. Hey, Bridget, welcome. Very tired, yeah. I wish you all the best. Techovation.com. It's free. I have to check that one out. I might have to go back and check out some of these links myself. I know I've heard of Cymatics before. Absolutely. Let's see. Hey, Pete Johns, welcome. Good to see you. Question: does anyone else's dog's paws smell like Fritos? Well, I guess if they've been eating Fritos and they've gotten into your Fritos, that probably would be the reason why that might happen. But yeah. Any tickets? All right. Did I say hello to Mark Bro? I hope I did. Hello, Mark Bro. Anyway, so if you have any other questions, let me know about how I can help you create your music, or if you want to know some things about what I do in terms of the creation process. I would love to hear whatever you might want to know about. I was trying to think if there's any other like free ones that I definitely use a lot. The problem with me is I can't. OTT is a free one. I've used that. I probably have used that before. I probably need to re-download that because that looks like it's broken. All right. Oh, well, that's not good. And yes, happy Canada Day to Canada. It's also Jade was doing the show earlier on the Calum audio. They do an app every year, and it's always a great app for International Joke Day. And I thought, geez, they probably should have moved International Joke Day up about 3 days. But, yeah. So Mark asked the question: what comes first? Theme, melody, chord progression, lyric. Well, chord progression I don't know is very relevant with much that I do. Maybe like a bass line, but what I like to do, I like to write lyrics first. And the reason I like to do that is because it gives me a roadmap to how I'm going to create the song. So a lot of times I can kind of get like an idea for the song in my head just writing the lyrics down. And then when I go into the DAW, I kind of know like what I'm trying to do. Now sometimes I'll just go in and I'll create something and I'll be like, oh, this is turning into something cool that I need to have lyrics for. But that's not, if I'm doing an album, I kind of like to do it where I write the lyrics first and then do the music second. because it gives me a roadmap for everything that I'm gonna do after that. Because I already know, okay, like I'm blocking out chorus, I'm blocking out like first verse, second verse, what's gonna happen in the middle eight, what's gonna happen, what kind of an intro and outro are we gonna have? All that can be kind of sussed out a little bit by doing the lyrics first. So then I'll come in to FL Studio or whatever, and I'll create like a bass line and drums. And I've outlined this whole process before on the channel when I did the songwriting series, but like I like to just come in and just kind of do those building blocks of like bass and drums, and then kind of build up from there with more instrumentation on top of that, and then eventually do the vocals and mixing and mastering and so forth. Oh, Amelia, gonna get me in trouble. Dan Eckberg says I'm a riffer. Yeah. So yeah, and sometimes like I was reading something about like there was a Reddit post about how to create a song, that how to stop writing songs that sounded the same. Because I know that's something we all struggle with at times, where we just kind of like get comfortable and we do our thing, and it all kind of ends up, and it can be a good and a bad thing. I don't want to necessarily say it's bad that your stuff, that all your songs kind of have a similar sound, because that can be a calling card for you. That can be like your unique identifier, that your songs sound a certain way. But you might want to get out of that, and so the way to do that, and he found it. DJ Big Red, that's unbelievable. There it is. One of the ways to do that is to start with something that you don't normally start with. So if you don't normally start with guitar, maybe start with guitar. If you normally do the lyrics first, do do everything else first. AC/DC didn't see that memo. You know what? Hey, it works for them, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot of different approaches you can take, and that's the fun of it. That's what I find really exciting about creating music, is that well, you were, I appreciate that you did that. I didn't know if I could find it again if I had to, but good work. Anyway, yeah, so there's a lot of different ways you can go about creating songs, and a lot of different processes that you can use. I don't know that there's one way that suits everybody. It's such a hard question to answer, because it's such a personal thing. Hey, Costa, welcome. Good to have you with us. No, you're really supposed to be here, but it's too hot to do housework. All right. So, let's pause, say here. Doing covers, none of my songs sound the same other than my marvelous vocals, said in my best Sling Blade voice. All right. No, Pause does some great covers. Absolutely. Hey, don't forget, we got You Rock coming up tomorrow. So if you got just a little bit of time to get in any last minute tracks. We're pretty full though, and I'm probably going to be shutting the form down pretty soon here. All right. So if anybody else has any other questions, let me know. Just put a Q in front of it if you can. I'll probably see it anyway. Let's face it. But yeah, there's a lot. Let's just get back to these like free plugins that I use. I just wish I could remember which of these were free. Another good one. This is free too. Is the Ulean loudness meter, and it says right there free, so it's free. They make it nice and obvious for you. But this one, this is gives you like a really good breakdown of what's happening inside your song in terms of the loudness. So if you're trying to hit certain benchmarks and stuff, now you can get the paid version of this, and I think it will actually like let you control some of that stuff. But this is a really great thing to have, just in terms of seeing where your loudness is in terms of luffs and over the entire song and over certain sections of the song. Dynamite's Throw says, if I write a song on bass, I have a hard time writing guitar to it. But if I start with guitar, bass comes easy. Anyone else experience that? That's really interesting. And that's coming from a bass player. That's fascinating. I would think it would be the reverse, but that's really interesting. I guess maybe it's because if you're a bass player, it's like I write, I do most of my writing on keyboard because I'm a keyboard player. So I guess if you do the thing that's more challenging first, then it makes it easier to get there. Because the bass, you're gonna knock the bass out. Like that's obvious. So I guess it's just a matter of starting at a point where it's uncomfortable, and then yeah. Yeah, it's July. Hey, you gotta send me that over if you made any changes or anything. But yeah, send it along. And I'll be excited to work on that. Leela says wants to paint again, therefore I must clear a 6x6 space at least. Yeah, I used to paint. I remember painting. Anybody watch that? Anybody watch Bob Ross? That guy was brilliant. I think he was one of the greatest painters of all time, Bob Ross. And yeah, I saw there's a compilation. Somebody made a compilation of like every time he cleaned the brush. Because the cleaning the brush was the best part. And he always got that, little grin, and he said, well, you just got to beat the devil out of it. And then he'd do this little thing on the side of the easel, splashing everybody with turpentine, probably. I saw a really crazy thing about Bob Ross. Speaking of Bob Ross, apparently, it might have actually been the paint thinner that he used was heavily associated with the type of cancer that ultimately killed him. So it literally may have been a contributing factor. The turpentine or the paint thinner that he was using in that enclosed space. I don't know about the other crew and stuff, if anybody had any effects from that or not. Dynamite Throw says, give me something to strive for, I guess. Need to up my chops on guitar anyway. I think you're pretty good on guitar too, but from what I've heard. If you start with the bass, then you have to figure if it's the root or the fifth or whatever while you start with guitar. It's a whole chord, so you can choose your bass line. See, I like it the other way. I like the bass first, because then, you have that underpinning. It gives you some direction of where you can go with the other stuff. But I guess, it just really depends on the style. It depends on your personal approach. I think a lot of those things make a big difference in terms of what you can do. But that is a great point, Mark. Costa says, same here, pause, but now I have GarageBand. I've started with piano melodies. Yes, there you go. So that's another way you can do it. I have one song that I started with piano, and I have to say that it's not something that I do very often, but it turned into a really interesting song, I thought, and that is Breach of Insecurity that was on Future Music for a Futureless World. That one I started off with piano. It was just piano, and then I built up around the piano, and I don't know. It kind of it has a different vibe than a lot of my other tracks. So maybe something I need to explore again. Dynamite Throw says, I play bass by ear mostly, so I have a hard time figuring out what key I'm in for the guitar work. Ah, that's interesting. See, I play keyboard. It's probably like 60%, 70% by ear. I can also read notes to a degree. I like to play, if I have to play from music, I like to play from lead sheets. So it's got the melody and the chords. I don't really like to fuss with all the different, soprano, alto, tenor, bass. I'm gonna struggle with that. I can play some things that way. Mostly just the alto, the soprano, alto, and bass. I struggle with the tenor a little bit. Getting that all in there, but yeah, both ways are good. Like Mark says here, it's just guitar. First makes it easier to figure out, and yeah, that's an understatement. It does a pretty dynamite job. Hello, Princess LDG. Welcome. Thank you. Yeah, we've been doing this a little while now. We're on episode 12, if you can believe that. Dynamite, I think we were separated at birth. I don't read music at all, but ear and I know the notes. Yes. And yeah, you can use some kind of chord detection to write out the notes. Now, I know like Logic, one of the nice things with Logic Pro, if you have a MIDI keyboard hooked up and you play a chord, there's a thing you can set up that'll tell you what chord you're playing, and I think it's there by default. You can get rid of it, of course, but if you have the MIDI keyboard set up, it'll tell you what chord you're playing. I don't know if it's always like 100% accurate because anything like that struggles with alternate bass notes. So if the root note isn't the lowest note, it will think that it's some other chord that it's not. You know what I mean? Like if you're playing like a C with a G in the bass, it might think it's some weird G chord and not like C with a G in the bass. But BandLab picks the note. Yeah, and I know I have I think is one of the best piano plugins out there is Pianotech. And Pianotech does it gives you the chords as well, and I think its chords are maybe a little more accurate than Logic sometimes. But yeah, any of that kind of thing is really great for figuring out chords. And most of the DAWs nowadays have automatic, like where you can drop chords in, so you can drop things in, and you can kind of get a sense of where it is supposed to be. Dynamite Throw says, my head hurts when I think too much about keys and chords and how it all works mathematically. Yeah. It can be confusing. Chord AI is a good detector for that. So yeah, get Chord AI. Check that one out. And yes, thank you, Mark. Don't forget to hit that like button. 100%, absolutely. Or annihilate the like button. Frank Turzo agrees with Dynamite Throw on that as well, about the chords. And you know what? Like, here's the thing. When you really sit down and think about it, all these bands that you like, all these rock bands that you've been listening to, some of them are real technical. Like, I'm willing to bet that the guys in Rush and a lot of those like 70s prog rock bands, they're probably pretty like they know music theory. They know it pretty damn well. And then you have bands like Nirvana, and I love when like somebody like Rick Beato will take apart like a a Nirvana song, and they'll say like, oh, he's using the this mode, and this is in the Phrygian mode, but he's doing the melody in this mode, and it's like I guarantee you Kurt Cobain was not thinking about any of that stuff. He might be doing it right just intuitively, but there's no way he knows that stuff. No way. I'd be shocked. I would be shocked. And that's not any kind of to diminish what he's done in any way. He's a musical genius. Absolute genius, because he was able to do that stuff without thinking about it. He was just intuitively, he just did those things. But he had no idea. Like I'd be willing to bet everything I own that he didn't know that stuff. Rick loves how Kurt sings over the chords. Yeah, no, and his melodies are really fascinating. They're really interesting to study. But he doesn't. I don't think he was thinking that stuff. I think he was just like, this melody sounds cool over this. And he was just such a brilliant guy. It had such an intuitive talent, songwriter, that he'd just like start singing and it would be genius, Pausing Guitar says, when I hear stuff like that, I hear Charlie Brown's Teacher. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. All right. Costa says, I'm interested because these guys are like 30 years younger, so the musical gap will be broad. Yes. Hello, Phoenix Falling. Welcome. Frank Turzo. I have no clue what I'm playing in theory anyway. See, but that's the thing. That's the thing. Frank writes brilliant music. And he's telling you right here, he doesn't know that stuff, but you don't have to know that stuff. That's the thing. Sometimes you just know what you know and it works because because you just have talent and ability. Kurt knows how to mess up a song. Well, sometimes I think a lot of that was intentional. Nice. Rehearsing with the son. There you go. That's the family business. Writing rockin' songs. All right, son, it's time to learn the family business, how we're going to write some rockin' songs. That's awesome. Can't say that for next week. All right. So I am answering any questions that you have relating to the studio and recording music. Let me know what you want to know, and I'll try to tell you. And if I can't figure it out, I'll find out. I probably won't ask Chat GPT, but I'll find out some way. All right. Let's see what else. What else can we talk about here today? Did I miss anything? Scroll up and see if I missed anything, because sometimes I miss things. It does happen. Well, we could take a look. Oh, here we go. DJ Big Red, just curious why you chose Fruity Loops as your DAW of choice. That is a great question, and I can answer that one. Hello, Moses J. Hawkins, welcome. I can answer that. So here's first of all, I've been using FL Studio since it was like FL Studio 5, I think was maybe the first one I used, or 3. Hey, oh my goodness. It's Bubba. Good to see you, Bubba. Scrabble Bees, what's up? FL Studio, see these patterns? Pattern 2, pattern 3. I like working in patterns. And I like that you can make a pattern and then you put it in here. You don't need to do that, but you put the pattern in here, you just drag it in there and you paint it across. That's cool. I like that. I like this workflow. And that's what it is. And I like the flexibility of FL Studio because you can hook anything to anything. It's just crazy, It's a different kind of thing. But it's not for everybody. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hi, Denise. Welcome. Pausing Guitar says, what is the best mic to use for an acoustic guitar that doesn't cost an arm and a leg? I have some plans for my PRS, but I need to find out what mic to get. I have an idea. So let me see. Oh, geez, I closed the window. I'll open a new window. All right. So let's just go over to Sweetwater. We'll go over to Sweetwater and we will look at MXL because I just don't remember. Okay, I don't care about your lighting giveaway. That's nice. Okay, oh, here it is. So this is a package I got. This was my first microphone. This is the MXL 990 and 991. I think this 991 actually, it's like this bullet condenser mic. I think would really be excellent for that kind of a thing. I mean, actually this one too. I mean, I think either of them would be great. But I mean, you can get this whole package, $129, and you're going to get both mics. You got a really good, really solid vocal mic. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this MXL mic. Is it top of the line? Hello, Linda Jean, welcome. Is this top of the line? No, but is it going to get the job done? Absolutely it will. So these are some very nice mics that would be I think really good for recording, because you need that. I think especially if you're going to be miking an acoustic guitar, you need that ability to, you need that condenser mic, because it's really going to pick up a lot of those like nuances and stuff that if you use like an SM58, it's going to just kind of get lost. Hello to Clayton Von Clues. Clayton had a question. Do you think YouTube Shorts are helpful for a musician trying to gain traction with his or her home studio? That is a great question, and one that I can't really answer because I only have 2 shorts. I keep saying I got to get started on the shorts thing, and I got to get to work on it. Still the case. $99 condenser mic. Yeah, the AT2020. I have that one too. It's back on my. Well, I think the MXL is back there. You can see it right there, next to my old mug, and then I think the other one's down at the bottom of the shelf right now. But yes, AT2020 is great. Ray Pierce uses the MXL 990. Downside is so that's probably the one thing about the MXL. If you have to have a mixer for it, or an interface, because it needs phantom power. Any condenser mic will need phantom power. So you would need to do that. Or you can get a USB mic as well. As far as USB mics, I mean, there's a bunch out there. We could just honestly go, because I trust this individual. We can go to studiolivetoday.com/gear, which is Pete John's gear page. And I know that this fine gentleman from Australia, see, he's got all this stuff here. And I think he's got some USB microphones somewhere here. Yes, Samson Meteor. So there's one that you can get. Nice little guy right there. So if you're looking for something that you just plug into your computer, that'll do it. I don't know if he has any other USB microphones on here. I'm not seeing any. I mean, generally speaking, like, USB microphones are probably more suited to like podcasting and going live on YouTube and stuff like that. But yeah, he's got a great gear guide, absolutely. So yeah. Frank Terzo said that bullet mic works well if you aim it toward the neck than the hole. And I know Bubba says here, you can also throw a piezo pickup on your acoustic for $65 to $100 and run line. That is very true as well. So yeah, you can get a piezo mic. It's like a little thing like the size of a coin. You stick that sucker in there. Yeah, Pete had a show about placements of guitars. So you can always check over on Studio Live Today, and Pete's probably got something for you in that regard as well. Actually, that the $70 Tascam condenser is about as good as anything. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the amount of money doesn't really matter. Hello, Lars Guitars. Ray Pierce says currently have and using 3 different mics: the MXL 990. A 1/4-inch dynamic mic, and a USB mic, kind of like the Yeti mic, yeah. And the Yeti mic is the one that, like a lot of the podcasters, a lot of the live streamers are using, and that one seems to work pretty well. But it's a little more oriented towards like voice and vocal stuff, so it kind of take that one with a grain of salt, I guess. Pausing Guitar says, I run through PreSonus, so USB mic is out of the question. Yeah. And actually, like, honestly, if you ask me, a mic that you're running through a mixer, a mic that you're running through a interface is going to be way better than a USB mic. It just seems like, and a lot of the USB mics are like surprisingly low quality. You got to be careful, because I have the one USB mic that I have is the Blue Snowball. And I actually use that. I used that on a couple albums that I put out years ago. Like, this is back in 2007-ish. And it was fine, but then I found out it's only 16-bit audio. So it's pretty low quality in a way. Scrabble bees record straight into my phone these days. Don't listen to me. Well, you know what? There was a guy around that we used to have around the community years ago named Dan Baker who did a bunch of videos where he made songs using nothing but the mics in the iPad, and they were amazing. Those mics aren't actually that bad. So the only issue is you have to have headphones so you don't get feedback and stuff. But other than that, it works really well. Mark Bro says a pair of Samson CO2 is rather cheap and does a great job. So is that the one that Pete had here? No. What is this? Samson. So what is that? Samson CO2. Let's see. Aha. So it's very similar to the MXL mics that I showed earlier. These are the Samson CO2. And you can get both of these for $128. So if you know you're not going to be recording any vocals or anything, I don't think these would be great for vocals. But if you're going to be doing a lot of instrument work, that might be an option too. That may well be an option. The Samson CO2 matched pair. That looks pretty decent. Yeah. Dan Eckberg says, I think Billie Eilish used an AT2020 for vocals on 2019 album. Yeah, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. Also, the Rode, I'm using the Rode Pod mic. I use this for all my music now, mainly because I have those other mics, but this is already hooked up, so I tend to just use it because it's already there. And then DJ Big Red said the first one that most bought when starting out was the C1 Behringer. Okay, yeah. Behringer. Let's see. C1 Behringer. Okay. I've seen. Oh, yes. I've seen that one. I have seen that one. So there you go. And I have the microphone that I record, the microphone that I do Thomas Christ live. I think this is a highly underrated microphone right here. This guy. This is the SB78A by Behringer. It is a handheld condenser mic. It's about 40. It was like $45. And I'll tell you what, that microphone is awesome. This is a really good microphone. So Behringer, what was that? SB 78A. Aha. And they have it on Amazon right now. I'm not even like an affiliate or anything, but they have it on Amazon right now, $41. This microphone is incredible. Now it's more of a vocal mic. I'll be honest with you. It's more of a vocal mic. Oh yeah, Hour of Rock. It used to be Thomas Christ Live. Now it's Hour of Rock. But yes, and Bubba absolutely does know things. I have it on good authority. Bubba says we record with one line piezo and one 57 in 2 channels. Adjust position of the Shure to pick up some extra lows that the piezo does do as well with. So yeah, you can do that absolutely as well. I'm not really like a huge, especially acoustic guitar player, so I'm gonna definitely defer to the people who know much more about recording acoustic guitars than I do. And yes, thank you all. No, this is not an SM7B knockoff because this microphone here, it looks like a dynamic mic, but it is a condenser mic. It's a handheld condenser, so you get all the great power of a condenser mic in the form factor of like an SM7B type of thing for $41. Like, you really can't go wrong with that one. Bubba knows his thing, absolutely. All right. So there we go. We are coming, getting close here to the end of the show. IDG. All right. So if anybody has any last question, anybody has any final questions or anything, let me know, and I will try to answer them for you. But if not, let me just remind you that coming up tomorrow, you got Leela. She's going to be doing a great live performance, live from Fur and Frets. It's called now. See, she's changing names too. Thank you, Lars. Appreciate that. But you got Jade Star up after that, and then we'll be here playing your most rockin' music. Are you ready for tomorrow? You rock. And our submission's still open, or are you full up? I'm pretty full. If you got like something that really can't wait, but I'm gonna be closing the form down here in probably a few minutes. Fruit Loops or Fruity Pebbles? I have to go with Fruity Pebbles because I like the remember those old commercials with and hello to Mix Club balls, by the way. Remember the old commercials? Barney, my pebbles. See you later, Fred. I guess there was always a shortage of Fruity Pebbles, and Barney was always stealing them. He couldn't get his own. Serial killer. There we go. All right. Well, thank you all so very much. I appreciate y'all being here. And Barney, my pebbles. Oh man. I don't even know if they still show those commercials or not, but they should. Anyway, I thank you all for being here. Yeah. Good stuff. And we will see you tomorrow for You Rock. Much love, take care, and most importantly, of course, keep rocking. See you later, everyone.